In what seems like a lifetime ago, before the COVID era, my great friend Paddy Rocks, the Irishman, came to stay with us. He and I used to play together 40 to 45 years ago. He was also a solo performer of note, and one of his most popular covers was the Bantam Cock by Thackeray. I posted a video of Paddy playing this song onto Messy Study a while back when he'd come to stay, and some of you were kind enough to leave some appreciative comments about that. And one of you made a plaintive request, please do a lesson on this. Well, how could I resist such a cry from the heart? So, Stoned Wookie, this one's for you. I'll do a run through of the introduction and the first verse just so you get a feel for the rhythm and how everything fits together, and then we'll deconstruct it and hopefully help you out there. It was a grand upstanding Bantam Cock, so brisk and stiff and spry, with a springy step and a jaunty plume and a purposeful look in his eye. In his little black blinking eye he had Okay, let's deconstruct. So the starting sequence is a sequence of individual notes coming up from the 6th string bass, ending on the 3rd string, and finally ending in an F sharp major 7th chord played across the 4 middle strings. We don't want the 1st and 2nd strings in that F sharp major chord. Okay, so the first note is E, open on the 6th string. The next note is A, open on the 5th string, followed on the 5th string by B in the 2nd fret, C in the 3rd fret, moving to the 4th string, open, D, 2nd fret, E. At that point, after the E, immediately those 4 middle strings of the F major 7th chord. And then the sequence going back again is almost exactly in reverse, except that the way we play that sequence is slightly different in its emphasis from the way that we went up. So the descending return is the same notes but played slightly differently. So there's that F major 7th chord. So we start off on the F, slide that's F on the 4th string, slide it down one fret down to D, E, and then onto D, open, C, 3rd fret 5th, B, 2nd fret 5th, and then A on the 5th. And what we then do is we hammer on the 6th string from the open E to the G, back to the open A on the 5th string. So let's just go through that again. Now, I mean, many people I've heard play the song start, it was a fine upstanding Bantam Cock. That's fine when you go straight into it, but it gives it a touch of class and authenticity if you can get that opening sequence right. So here it is again, slowed down. Sorry. Okay, so that's the first bit of the deconstruction. The next bit is a kind of holding pattern, and this is an important one because it also represents the pattern that you play in between each verse. Okay, so this is whereas the opening notes are a one-off, this holding pattern is something that you really do have to get on top of, because it will bridge you from one verse to the next. So we finished our opening sequence of notes, and we then go into this. So let's take that a bit more slowly. 2 strums on the A minor. Again, trying to avoid playing the outer 1st and 6th strings. The best strumming tends to concentrate in the middle and only employs those outer strings every now and again for special effect. That's where the heart of the chord almost always lies. Okay, so two downs on the A minor, and then what we do is this. And what I'm doing is I'm using my first finger to bar strings 2, 3 and 4, and sliding it up 1 fret onto the A minor 7th position. So what I'm doing there is 2 A minors, 2 A minors, and so playing the first 4 strings, or 6, 5, 4 and 3 of the G chord, but actually damping the 5th string with the pad of my finger. And that gives a nice kind of growly sound. Indeed, getting rid of that 5th string on the G chord generally is a good plan. You get a much better sound, much better integration with vocals and so on. Sometimes it's appropriate to play, but I would say most times I play G, I'm damping it out. Okay, so here we go. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So the final part of that bridging sequence is that hammer-on the 6th string from the open E to the G back to the A open on the 5th string. So put that in context. Okay, so that takes us through the introductory sequence as well as that holding pattern. The verse itself then. And as I say, the verse is all constructed around A minor, G, F and E. And again with those G's, I'm padding out, I'm damping out that 5th string when I'm playing G using the pad of my finger. So here we go. It was a fine, upstanding Bantam Cock. So nice, simple double strum across the middle 4 strings. Don't try and play on the outer strings too much. Of course, when you get to G, F and E, then it's fine to put in the G, F and E bass notes, but still keeping the rest of your strum in that middle section and trying to avoid, if you can, the outer 1st string. So it was a fine, upstanding Bantam Cock, so brisk and stiff and spry. Now you notice at the end of the 2nd line, and it's true for each verse, you do a kind of syncopated F to G movement. And notice in particular that it's a backstroke first rather than a downstroke for that syncopation. So I'll do it in slow motion. First line, 2nd line. So there's a pause before you get into that backflip on the F chord and then into the E. Let's do it again. First line and then the 2nd line. It was a grand, upstanding Bantam Cock, so brisk and stiff and pause. very good. That's the only place in the song where you, in effect, do a conscious backflip. And the trick with that is to ensure that there is that open pause, that silent pause, very briefly before you hit the backflip on the F chord. Let's do that again. It was a grand, upstanding Bantam Cock, so brisk and stiff, and pause. And that all helps to give the song a bit of character and flavour rather than just a boring old okay. Third line, with a springy step and a jaunty plume. So again, just double downstrokes on the A minor and stuff, and all the way through to G, F and E, and it's the same in effect as the first line. The fourth line is a bit different. So let's go from the first to the second to the third and then into the fourth to see what I mean. So, it was a grand upstanding Bantam Cock, so brisk and stiff and spry, with a springy step and a jaunty plume, with a purposeful look in his eye. So, on that fourth line, with a purposeful look in his eye, we end with two downstrokes, but the rest of it are single bass notes, and they are A, which is open 5th string, G, 3rd fret on the 6th string, back to A, open on the 5th, and then B, 2nd fret on the A string or 5th string, and then 2 A minor chords downstroked, with a purposeful look in his eye, with a purposeful look in his eye, in his black, blinking little eye he had, so that's A, bass on open 5th string, and 3rd fret, 6th string to give you G. He had, and then we're into that holding pattern. I'll do the 4th and the 5th lines again, but I'll do the first 3 so you've got them in context. It was a grand, upstanding Bantam Cock, so brisk and stiff and hold spry, with a springy step and a jaunty plume, and a purposeful look in his eye, in his black, blinking little eye he had. And basically, that's all you need to know. Please, don't ask me to write out music. Don't ask me to write out tab. I do neither of them. Someone's at the door.